Hello everyone and welcome to Be on Reddit. I think something very bad happened to my sister. Throw away because this is seriously terrifying. I scope Reddit a lot and I really don't know where to go, but I hope I can be helped here. I'm 14 male, I'm American but live in Asia, being vague because I don't want this traced back to me if the situation is as bad as it seems. I don't know if I should give some sort of background or anything, but up until about 7 months ago, I lived with my mom, 39, and my dad, 41, plus my little sister, 9. I say was because my sister is no longer here, she is in boarding school. I want to preface this by saying we are not bad kids. We are half white, half Asian. When my grandpa, in dad's side, got sick 4 years ago, we moved here so my dad can take care of him. Me and my sister worked hard to learn the language. Despite her age, she actually caught on better than me and I was so impressed with her. The issue began with grandma. She would really look down on my sister and I love my sister and didn't like it one bit. My mom said it's cultural and I shouldn't make a fuss, but it was hard when grandma really started making it obvious. She got me clothes, game, etc., but my sis got no attention. I should mention that 4 years ago we lived with grandpa and grandma. In that time of me getting spoiled, my sister got reprimanded for everything she did. I swear it was super unfair, you wouldn't believe. Just under a year ago, grandpa passed and my parents decided we'd stay here since I already speak and read pretty fluently. Grandma spoke to everyone about how rude and unladylike my sister is, and my parents went along with it when I completely think that's wrong. 7 months ago, her and grandma went out and my parents said she'd be at boarding school for the summer. Just the summer. After 3 months, I got anxious and asked when she'd be back, and my mom ended up crying at the question. I was talked to by my dad, and he said she loved boarding school so much she didn't want to come back yet. Is that how boarding school works? I don't think so. Maybe I've been watching too much TV or reading too much Reddit, but we're in another country, and I swear that what they were doing was emotional abuse. Still, it gets worse. After 5 months, I still hadn't gotten any contact. No message, no letters, nothing. And that's when my dad started making her room into his office space. We actually got into a big fight over it, and I ended up with more chores. But he never answered why he was doing it if she'd be back soon. Anyway, it's now been 7 months since that car trip that took my sister away, and the final nail in the coffin hit. I was looking through the attic for my mom and found a box with some of her old stuff, including her phone. Why wouldn't she have her phone? I really just want to know if there's anything I can do. No one will tell me which boarding school she's at. I'm told not to worry about it because I'm a child. I know I'm too young to do much, but if there's anything I can do, please help. When I think about it, I can't stop remembering the way my mom cried that day. It makes me shiver. I've been imagining the worst, and I'd hate it if it ended up being something along my mind. Update 2 weeks later. Hi Reddit, it's been a crazy few weeks, but I absolutely needed to update as soon as possible. Sorry my post got locked, and I appreciate everyone who spoke to me via DMs. Sorry to those I couldn't get to, it was a lot. I should get on with the most important part of the update, what I finally ended up doing. So thanks to the super community that is Reddit, I was able to get in touch with a few different sources, the least favorite of which was a phone call towards those that help find trafficked children. I knew my family would be investigated and actually went to meet up with another family in that time. So basically, a Redditor close to my age who I'll keep private met with me, and she had already showed my story to her family. They ended up letting me stay with them for a bit and made the proper calls to make sure it wasn't illegal. I actually even specified that I wasn't running from home and I'd come back after the investigation. It didn't sit so well with authorities and I was actually forced to go back home, but it only got stranger from there. I went back home to a completely empty house, even grandma was gone, so I was allowed to stay with the other family for the time being. They were extremely kind. For a week I didn't get any news and bless her mother's heart, but I was told I had a home here no matter the results. So, A few days after a week had passed, I get a call and it turns out they found my sister. My family had been taken in for questioning and were placed in holding for quite a while. I'm not sure why they didn't tell me this immediately though. I don't actually know the full story, but my sister was living close to 700 kilometers away. Yeah, nearly a whole day's drive. It wasn't summer school or boarding school or anything like that. My dad sold her to get married. My mom was off the hook as one, I still needed a parent, and two, she wasn't in on it until it was a decent way in. My dad and grandma have been arrested though, and I'm back living with my mom and sister now. I'm still in contact with the redditor that let me stay with her, and I'll forever be grateful. I have no idea what would have happened if I was around when authorities came knocking. She's my angel. On a more depressing note, my sister doesn't speak much, but she seemed to cheer up after I let her read my post. She said she felt abandoned and alone, among other things, but seeing how I and plenty of strangers gave their hearts for her made her very happy, so thank you all. Sorry for being so vague here, but I'm trying to protect identities. This isn't over by a long shot. There's still things that are going to happen, but I have my sister, and that's all thanks to Reddit. Thank you. Now for the comments. Makes my blood boil what the dad and grandmother did. But I'm also tearing up about the little girl losing her innocence. Hopefully she's mentally okay. My heart breaks for her. She's going to need therapy. Hopefully OP's mother treats her better. Another commenter says, OP's mother eventually knew what happened and went along with it. Understanding that she wasn't a fully willing participant, if she wasn't willing to go to the authorities the moment she found out her prepubescent child was sold into marriage, I wouldn't have a lot of faith in her to raise the kid super well. Another editor says, my mother knew what my father was doing to me as a little kid and did nothing. I was also sent back to live with her for 2 more years until I was 18. I learned to live with her for my survival. The second I moved out, I cut her off. She still can't accept that she did anything wrong by doing nothing, but it's damn near just as damaging. I grew up to be an attorney who reports child human rights abuses to the UN. No one was there for me and saw me in my suffering, and I'm fairly certain that's why I've chosen to be the adult who does that for children on a national level. You'd be shocked at the amount of people who benefit from covering up hideous abuses of children. It happens right in front of us all the time, and so many say nothing because they benefit from the status quo. It's gut-wrenching, and I wish I had a better way to wrap this up than that. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend he is a misogynist? Original post, September 22, 2023. For some background, I've known this guy for a few years, but we only became good friends when high school was ending. He had a girlfriend and she left him after 3 years, stating that she has fallen out of love with him. He badmouthed his ex to everyone and fought with her relatives, friends. It's a long story. Here's why I think he might be a misogynist. 1. He keeps slut-shaming his ex and it's been a year since the breakup. For example, if she's going out and wearing something that shows a tiny bit of her cleavage, he will get jealous, post rants about women in general, and say other men are getting access to something that is his. 2. If she and her friends have a get-together involving drinking, smoking, he will post essays on how fake feminism is so prevalent nowadays, how real feminism is not drinking and smoking and freaking multiple men, etc. Mind you, the ex and her friend group are not that active on social media and do not advocate about feminism online. 3. He always shares news articles of women wronging men and posts cryptic captions like, "This is what's happening to men these days," and never posts about the vice versa. 4. He keeps saying that he has a problem with the girls of this generation and how they take advantage of men because the society is biased in favor of women. 5. Once during a convo, I told him that I will take my boyfriend with me everywhere because I enjoy his company. He basically laughed and said that rather he, my boyfriend, will take me with him and that I will eventually fall out of love with my boyfriend too because that's what happens. Girls get tired and leave. 6. He insists that I find him a girlfriend and asks me to introduce him to my friends. One day I told my friend that he liked her and she said she didn't know who he was and politely declined, saying she just wasn't in the dating scene. I told him and he did not take it well. He said if he tried hard enough, he could get any girl he wants, and my friend is basically worth nothing once he gets a prettier girl. 7. He has this outlook that he only wants to marry a virgin because she would have little dating or sexual history, but thinks that a woman shouldn't prefer a virgin man because men experienced in bed are better. 8. Keeps telling me how much my boyfriend pampers me. He asked me once if I would let my boyfriend have a threesome and I said no. So he said to let the man have some fun and don't be so uptight, men don't like women like this. During an argument a few days ago, I just had enough and told him that he is a misogynist. He called me a stupid bitch and told me to shut up because how could I assume a person was misogynistic by simply watching their posts? We didn't talk again and I apologized a few days later for lashing out. He accepted it but said how could I call him that when he was practically raised by a single mother? He has a point, but I still can't shake the feeling that he is somewhat misogynistic. Now for the comments. A Redditor says, "Wow, he really didn't take the breakup well, did he? Hopefully, as the pain fades, he becomes reasonable. This is one of the awful consequences of social media. Instead of growing out of his anger, he finds groups who are also angry and reinforce each other, and everybody gets worse. Community on the internet is never inherently good." OP responds, "I don't know if he will ever get better. I once tried telling him to focus on self-improvement and mental health. He said those fancy terms weren't for men. He tried dating months after his breakup and those ended badly." Another Redditor types, "Info, why on earth did you apologize to him and why is this a-hole still your friend?" OP replies, "After that argument I was really pissed off, but as it faded, I realized he brings out the worst in me and I'm kinder than this. Plus, a few days after the fight, he had a death in his family. I just could not be that evil and not support a friend through a tough time. He was really mean at first, but then it got normal gradually. He overall did have a bad year, not justifying anything. I had decided even if the situation got better, I would keep my distance. That's what I did. I responded vaguely to his rants about girls, which eventually resulted in him saying awful things yet again just days later." Update December 5, 2023, 2.5 months later. Thought I would give an update even though only a few people saw the previous post. So I cut off my male friend. I have no regrets about the decision even though initially I was a bit hesitant to do it. He made some attempts at reconciliations and apologies, etc. But after receiving cold replies from my side, he eventually stopped bothering me. Now, important to note that I haven't blocked him anywhere, just unfollowed him and I do not text him anymore. We absolutely have had no contact in these past months, but I can see his activities. However, he makes posts targeting me in order to elicit a reaction or a response from me, but I never gave him the satisfaction of a response. Now to the present. Recently he posted something offensive targeting me, so I posted a similar post directed at him very subtly. Childish, I know, but I'm beyond caring at this point. I just wanted to be a little petty. The idiot almost constantly calls up my boyfriend and complains to him about me. He rants to my boyfriend about how he's depressed because of the friendship breakup and how nothing in his life is good. This year is very traumatic for him, etc., and that my post was specifically targeting him. My boyfriend played it cool and remained diplomatic, but he was on my side the entire time. He instantly informed me about all the BS my ex-friend spewed about me. He later also told my boyfriend that he was up for friendship again if I'm feeling like it. Hell nah. That man really thought he is so smart because he would go and rant to my boyfriend and try to convince me through boyfriend and get a fair stance because my boyfriend is considered a good and thoughtful person by everyone. Of course, my boyfriend will always support me, excluding situations where I am wrong because he will make me understand. But my ex-friend's thought process is hilarious to me. Now for the comments. A Redditor says, "Not the a-hole, great tea. OP responds, "That's why I thought I should spill it." OP gives a final comment about seeing their ex-friend for who they were. The reality check I needed. I have no excuse for letting his BS go on for so long, except the fact that my naive mind really thought maybe he's a good person underneath. Just gets misunderstood a lot. Nope, he needs therapy. That was the end of the video. Comment down below to share what you thought. Press like and subscribe and click the notification bell for more regular updates. Thank you for watching.